Hey, what's up, class? My name is Jared, and I am here posting my Module 4 and Module 5 discussion post. This should be for Phase 1, so I'd like to refresh you guys about my big problem. Oh, excuse me. My big problem addresses the lack of financial education in when it comes to public schooling. Um, I believe that cognitivism relates more to let's if I'm gonna address like a certain individual or organization, I think it would have to do more with like the educator, the instructor, the teacher, or the individual who's learning. So with that being said, I'd like to clarify that it doesn't really have to do too much with Congress or state governments or local governments or even like larger governments larger than that, because those are outside of our, I would say, like microsystem for Bronfenbrenner's theory. So, with explaining that those are the individuals, and this is the system that we're working with. Essentially, the cognitism learning theory pretty much goes into giving us a whole bunch of theories and a whole bunch of concepts that relates to the way that learners think and the way that learners maybe not think, but the way that age has to relate with learners thinking or learners getting stuff together. So I want to go back to my directed learning and focus on letting you guys know that I really wanted to focus on the PyGAT theory. I really thought that it was important, and the most stage that, in my personal opinion, is during the formal operational stage. Um, this is a stage in the PyGAT theory that's labeled from being 12 all the way into adulthood. And the way that we could implement a theory like that going into my big problem is 12 all the way into adulthood is could be 12 all the way into your however many old, but let's just say in the sake of for the sake of my argument or my big problem, it could be 12 until you're 18 or 12 until you finish school. So a lot of good examples that we could implement the PyGAT theory is, you're 12, you're 18, you get to learn these more complex lessons. So we can maybe introduce like some interest 101, some finance 101, investing 101, taxes 101. And I believe I put loans 101 in there too. Because what the PyGAT theory it tells us is when you're 12 to 18 years old, you're able to learn more complex concepts, and you're able to think a little bit and process stuff a little bit quicker than when you were at different ages. Because at different ages, for example, you're learning um, sensory, things and touching stuff and blah blah blah. So with all that being said, that's how I wanted to implement the PyGAT theory. That's how I perceived cognitism. Let me know what you guys thought. Give me some feedback, and I'll talk to you guys later.